Hey there, CPO here, and this is my 5th lesson in the Cessna 152 with my instructor. It was a beautiful day for flying, just a light wind, and I really feel like things are starting to click at this point. I'm getting a better feel for the aircraft, and hopefully it's starting to show. Obviously, I have a lot to learn still, but I am getting more and more comfortable with the controls, particularly, and I'll mention this later in the video, but the rudder is less elusive to me. In this video, we did some steep turns, some more stalls. We experimented with trim stalls and things like that. I also got some hood time. Now, my instructor did not have her hood with her, so I just pulled my ball cap down over my face. You'll see that. But really a great day, and I think my landings are starting to come together. They're getting better. So that's it. Just enjoy. This is a pretty long video, but there's kind of a lot going on in it. So thanks for watching, and here you go.
Don't see anything coming from that direction.
One of the things that we need to start talking about are emergency procedures.
Okay.
So, I guess the first point where you're valuing as to whether or not you're going to go after you finish the run-up and everything is as you're rolling down the runway.
Okay.
So if anything seems odd, what do you need to do?
Abort.
Okay.
So,
Power back to idle.
Power back.
Brake as necessary. Much better to run off the end of the runway slowly than to hit the trees at some lower altitude.
Right. So even like, in my opinion, just a little bit of a hiccup on the motor would cause me to want to stop.
That would be a good reason,
Okay.
yes. Anything that seems odd, much easier to taxi off and figure out what was going on.
Okay.
Okay. At this airfield, we do not have many options if we have a low-level engine failure. And there's a problem in that it's not really possible to turn back to the airfield until you're at probably pattern altitude. Because as you turn, you lose lift, which causes you to sink faster. And it's not just a 180-degree turn. It's actually a little bit more than that, because you're still going forward as you turn.
Right, okay.
So it's more like a 270. And the estimate for this little guy is something like if you can't see the airport, then you really can't come back to it. So you're looking kind of in front of you, about 30 degrees either side, for the best spot.
Okay.
And doing the best you can. Under these circumstances, the way that we would handle it is I'd take the plane, do the best I could. You would back your seat up as far as possible, which would be about there.
Probably is, yeah.
Feed off the controls, basically brace yourself. This will come back at you.
Okay.
Okay. And once everything stops, we will crawl out of the airplane and meet behind the airplane, where we've cleared the brush.
Okay.
Actually, the better thing would be to meet upwind,
Okay.
but that might not be possible.
Now, do you pop the doors open?
That's correct,
Okay.
yes. In fact, on final, what you would see me doing is shutting this off, pulling this out, turning off all the electronics and everything, and making sure both doors are open. Now, these doors have to be blocked open.
Okay.
Okay, so a shoe, cowl plugs, something like that, just shove it into the corner.
Okay.
And that will keep it open enough. Alright, very depressing.
Yeah, it sounds like a great time to fly. Okay, I'm still clear left.
Loud squeals on those guard frequencies.
Oh, good. At least our radio
Very
works.
nice. That one does.
Okay. All right. Tipton 788 Foxtrot Mike will be departing runway 28. Tipton.
Early in the morning, people are a little silly still.
Tipton traffic, news 1. 6 to the west inbound, right traffic landing parallel 28 Tipton.
Alrighty. Everything looks good.
Okay. For this altitude, that needs to be all the way forward.
Okay. Alright.
Okay. Okay, pitch 467.
Got a helicopter at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, that's probably News 1 that called in. We are unusual as a general aviation airport to have so many helicopters. But they like it because the fuel system is relatively open. Friendly.
Tipton traffic, news 1, entering the right downwind for parallel 28 Tipton.
Okay, visibility's not that great.
So as we're tootling along here, you can see some fields around.
Southwest
And
826,
this area we tend to focus a little more on,
and descend to maintain
for an emergency landing
4,000.
site, more on fields than roads.
4,000, Southwest 826.
For example, Route 50 that we're just passing. That's certainly wide enough
Southwest
for us to land
3411,
on,
descend to maintain 3,000, then reduce speeds
but
to
very, very
170.
busy, yes.
Send 3,000 and slow to 170, Southwest 3411.
Sorry, Southwest 443, checking on 9,000, sending 6,000.
And the
Southwest
smaller
443,
roads
return
tend to
photo
not
mile
be,
3024, Victor's now current.
they might technically be wide enough, but they typically have power lines or fences or posts of some sort near the road. So they may not be a good place.
ABEX 555
That does not mean if that was my only possibility that I wouldn't use it.
Southwest 3411, you'll be number 2, follow a heavy Boeing 767 series at 12 miles straight in.
Southwest 3411, looking.
Southwest 826 at 4,000, reduce
The other
speed to
side is
170,
there's
you'll
not
be number
a
3,
lot
follow
of fields
company
that are
on the,
really big.
downwind.
Yeah, that's also the issue.
Southwest 761, reduce speed to
It
1900.
kind of leads you to the idea of how big do I need the field to be? And the answer
Southwest
is,
443 at 6,000, reduce
we're
speed
looking
to
at
210,
landing in there. We're not necessarily
and flat
looking at
present
taking
heading.
off.
Okay, at 6,000, we'll slow to 210, present heading Southwest 443.
So you can land at a much shorter distance than you need for takeoff.
Right. So this would be a perfect one.
Yeah, so that one would probably be alright. Lee, of course, would be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, let's take the airport first.
Yes, if there's an airport, that would be better. And in Maryland, there
Southwest
actually are a
826,
lot of
short
little
back to cross
unexpected airports that don't make it onto the chart. They tend to
Southwest
be
3411, turn right heading 240.
for the use of
Turn 240,
prop
Southwest
dusters.
3411.
Okay.
ABEX 555.
Maybe
heavy
aren't
contact
used a
tower,
lot
119.4.
during the year, but certain times of the year.
Good night.
There.
And they may not appear on the chart.
Check's flat.
So-
43 to join localizer.
Would you always
Southwest
prefer
826, turn left direct flat, join the
a
localizer, descend main
questionable
3000.
field landing
Next flat.
over a shallow water landing?
26.
Like you've got some of these areas here where we know the water's probably not going to be that deep,
3411, follow that traffic, clear visual approach,
Well-
runway 33 left, cross rate.
but there's a lot of open
heavy,
space.
767 series.
The problem is a water landing. Because we're fixed gear, there's a good chance that we may flip
Southwest
over.
826 speed, 170 knots, and your company is at 12
And
o'clock,
it's likely to
4
be a
miles,
very high
Dog
G
Leg, Final
landing.
3000.
Okay, got
Now, some of these fields are very short, but the landing will probably not be that high G.
Southwest 826,
More
follow that
Gs
traffic,
means
clear visual
more
approach,
damage
runway
to the
33
person.
left.
Follow company,
Okay.
get the visual 33 left, Southwest 826.
Southwest 443, descend and maintain 4,000, then reduce speed to 170.
4,000.
But shallow water would certainly be preferable to, let's say, landing in a forest.
So for my clearing turns, I did get some previous feedback on the fact that I should be looking underneath the raised wing up at the open airspace above me during clearing turns. And it took me a little bit to kind of think through that. And then on this flight, I actually spent some time doing that. And I do agree it's much more effective in clearing the airspace around. I've got to look where I'm going, to the left here. But you'll see me constantly looking back right at that airspace because that right wing is tilted up, so I can really see a lot of that airspace. So I appreciate the feedback, and as you can see, I oftentimes take it and try and implement it into my own procedures. But so anyway, that's that.
Heading 240.
Right, 240.
It's an airliner, I think.
Yeah, they kind of follow
Southwest
the
826,
Severn
Baltimore
River up.
Tower, 119.4.
South 826 today.
Southwest 443, about a 49
So when
over
they're
take.
coming from the south, there is a intersection that they use in the middle of the bay that is their turning point.
Okay.
Alright. So let's go ahead and practice a little slow flight followed by a stall.
Okay. You want me to just this direction?
Yeah, this direction's okay. The sun's not in our eyes.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and pull power to 15. Carb heat on. And you want full flaps?
That's fine.
Southwest 761, turn right direct flat.
Right, direct flat, Southwest 761.
Okay. Got full
we
flaps.
Definitely have some of the warning signs.
Right.
Go ahead and raise your nose a little bit more. See if you can keep it from descending.
Okay.
I suspect you actually need more power once you get below about 60-ish or so. And with the two of us in here, probably about 2,000 even. So use a little rudder, keep her from turning. I have to use your peripheral vision to see something that would tell you you're turning, because there's not much up
3672
there.
is leaving 10 for 4,000, D7 Villa Anthem 1.
Southwest 3672, roger.
Okay, you can definitely feel the kind of pulsing in the
Southwest
controls.
761 is
Right.
going to maintain 3,000.
That's
3,000,
turbulent air
761.
coming off the wings. Okay, let's go ahead and turn to the right, about 210, so about 30 degrees to the right.
Okay. I actually made that turn with the rudder.
The tower 119.4.
It might be more emphasizing one rudder or the other.
I'm sorry, what was the heading you wanted?
About 210, this is fine.
Okay, sorry. I was sitting there thinking about how I'm controlling with the rudder and not the ailerons.
Yeah, the ailerons still are a little bit useful, but they are very sluggish.
12 o'clock, 4 miles at 2,400.
Okay.
We're looking.
Let's go ahead and do a power off stall. So just power all the way to idle. Keep the nose up like this. Maybe even add back pressure.
Traffic side 761. Southwest 761, follow the traffic, flood visual approach, runway 33 left, contact tower 119.4. Follow traffic, clear
Okay,
visual
is it all the
33
way
left,
back?
Southwest 761.
Yep.
Okay, let's go ahead and recover. So the answer was that we did not go quite beyond the critical angle of attack. So full power. Lefts to 20. And once you get back, we'll go ahead and climb back up to around 2,000.
Okay. I felt like my rudder control was better on that stall attempt.
Yes, I could see that you were trying to keep it straight. What I'd like to do is kind of point towards one of the point of lands down here.
Okay.
And we're going to do something called a steep turn.
Okay.
Southwest 36.
So that is 45 degrees of bank.
To maintain 3,000. 210 down
And
to 3,000.
that's in
Southwest,
between
36.
these two fat lines.
That dot?
Oh, so there is a dot.
There's a dot? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
How nice.
Yeah, that's handy.
What you'll notice is when you get beyond 30 degrees of bank, that you need to add either back pressure or power to maintain altitude. You're going to do a 360 degree turn,
Okay.
hopefully maintaining 2,000, and rolling out on whatever point of land or landmark you're using.
Okay.
Okay? Your choice as to which side you go.
Okay. We're going to go left. I'll take a quick look over that way.
Approach Riverjet 100 has filled.
Looks clear left. All right, 45 degrees.
Split visual approach to runway 33.
Okay?
Good visual.
Little back pressure as you go. Look out at your horizon, such as it is. A little more bank.
It's kind of blocked. Was that heading 250? Was it? That's 3672
Little
for
more
heading
pull.
250. 250.
You will feel slightly heavier
That's 3483
as you're adding
localized, reduced speed
reloading,
to
which
170.
you can notice at 45 degrees.
170 speed south.
Wow.
3483.
That's about, at this point, about 40% more than
Standby.
just flying around level.
Riverjet 100, contact point tower 121.3. River tower, Riverjet.
We got a plane
Go
straight
ahead,
up.
roll. Pardon?
Got traffic. That's a fighter jet, isn't it?
2 o'clock and 8 miles. That's right for Southwest 3672.
Could be, I don't know.
3672.
I think that was a jet.
Runway
Let's
33
go
left.
ahead and reverse course normally.
Okay.
Fly back up the coast.
You want me to do the steep turn or just?
Regular.
Observe, proceed
Okay.
on course, remain outside Bravo airspace.
On course out of Bravo 7368 Foxtrot.
Southwest 3483 at these speeds back, just going to maintain 3,000.
Alright, we're 170 down to 3,000 feet, Southwest 3483.
Okay, so that worked out fairly nicely.
That was fun. You definitely feel the increased G-forces on that.
Yeah. So anytime you bank the airplane, you are adding load to the airplane.
Southwest 3672.
It's just that when you get
Tower,
beyond 30
119.4.
degrees, you can actually perceive it.
Southwest 3672, thanks.
Southwest 3483, you're flying company at 1 o'clock, 6 miles, right
Our
base at
maximum
1,800.
for the airplane is about 60
Yeah, we're
degrees,
looking for Southwest 3043.
and that's what that midpoint line is. I mean, this line, not that one. I
Okay.
said that, and then I realized that was open to misinterpretation. Alright, let's try that going around to the right.
Southwest 3043's got company inside.
Now, you're going to
Southwest
notice
3043, follow your
that
traffic,
it
clear
looks
visual approach,
different
runway 33
because
left,
you're going to be
contact
sitting
tower
very high in the
119.4.
airplane
All
versus the last time.
Okay.
Southwest 3043 today.
All right.
And once you establish the bank angle, you can kind of use your outside references once you get past the sun to help you maintain altitude. You have a little bug on your windshield that you could use for an aiming point. I do.
Yep.
And just kind of glance at your altitude as you go around. There you go.
Those are nice. It's easier, actually, for me to turn right than left. That higher vantage point feels more comfortable.
Usually one person or one side is easier than the other for some reason. Doesn't matter, as long as you can do it reasonably on one side.
Personal preference, huh?
Yeah. The elevator trim stall happens, like I said. What I did was I basically was simulated in now. Go power to idle. Operator heat. Holding the nose level. Trimming away that pressure. And basically trimming the airplane so it'll kind of fly around 60 by itself. But as you saw, it's a whole bunch of trim.
Right.
Now go ahead and grab the yoke.
K-Mod 4727 airports at
The way you get out of an elevator trim stall is by pushing forward. I'm going to add power.
4727, clear visual approach, runway 33 right, contact the tower, 119.4.
You see how it's responding?
Yeah.
Push. Rudder.
Mercury 4203, fighting 220,
Alright, now
and
trim
descend and maintain
that
2000.
pressure away.
Heading 220, descend and maintain 2000, Mercury 4203.
The more power that an airplane has, the worse that response is.
Okay.
And we can recover to normal cruise flight.
Okay. I'm assuming it's fully my airplane now.
Mercury
Yes, it is.
4203, measure out to maintain 3000.
3000, Mercury 4203.
So situations where you might run into that, let's say you were practicing a simulated engine out, you trimmed it fully, and then you had to do a go-round. Full power very quickly will cause the airplane to kick its nose up very quickly.
Okay. Now I'm starting to understand what that was.
Yeah. That's
So-
why I had you take the control, because the
Mercury
more
4203,
power
heading
that an airplane
240,
has,
the airport's at 3 o'clock, 9 miles.
Heading 240, we have the airport in sight.
the
Mercury
faster
4203.
it'll kick.
Mercury 4203, clear visual
Okay.
approach, runway 33 left.
The only remedy is to
Clear
hold the
visual approach,
airplane
33
nose at a
left,
more
Mercury
sane
4203.
pitch.
So you're basically just fighting your own trim setting.
Yes, that's exactly what's going on. Go ahead and take a look around.
Okay. Let's look. Okay, I'm going to do a clearing turn to the right.
Okay. So an elevator trim stall could happen, let's say when you do a go-around, or if you're simulating the engine out or trimming it so you don't have to work quite as hard. Now the other possibility that I'm supposed to show you is a secondary stall. That's where you stall the airplane and you do a bad recovery.
Okay.
And this is typical of someone who stalls the airplane, sees the nose drop, and doesn't actually understand or realize why it did that. And prematurely pulls the nose up beyond the critical angle of attack again.
Okay.
500 Mio Juliet, 700 climbing 2.
Okay, I do not see our companions out here.
Yeah, I don't see anybody.
Right then.
Okay, let me have the airplane for a second.
Your airplane?
Gonna go ahead and set up for a stall. Gonna do this without flaps, but with low power.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead and stall the airplane. I am pulling it back to idle. A little bit of rudder.
Singer 0 Romeo Juliet, radar
Morning.
contact 2 miles west of Martin State Airport. Proceed direct to A
Stay
guard.
down and
Join
up
sector
again.
44. And
Okay.
navigate.
Okay. Now I know you didn't probably look at the airspeed, but when we actually stalled originally, we were around
156.
40-ish or so.
Descending via the Raven 4.
So
stalled
where
it.
the stall warning horn
56,
came
Roger.
on the second time was about 50.
50. Yeah, I noticed that.
So that is also an accelerated stall.
Okay.
Okay, an accelerated stall means that the airplane stalled at a higher airspeed than you would have expected.
Is that because of the increased load? Because of the
That's exactly what
Okay.
it is. Okay, your airplane?
my airplane?
No, you're not going to be required to demonstrate those. We're hoping that you will remember some of these
4129, right.
circumstances and guard against it.
Okay.
Alright. Now the final thing I need to do with you out here is kind of off to the side. I've been forcing you to look outside.
Okay.
We got to do a little bit of hood time.
Okay.
In other words, simulated instrument time.
Right.
Singer 0 Romeo Juliet, climb 189,000, contact departure
And shoot,
124.55.
I just realized that of course I don't have my hood with me because I left my bag at home. So,
Do you want me to pull my ball cap down over
yeah,
my
pull
face?
your ball cap down and try not to look at the outside world.
All right, your airplane?
My plane.
Okay, I can only see the instruments.
Okay, great. That works. Yeah, the one that I use is kind of like an advanced ball cap anyway.
Okay.
Alright.
Is it my airplane?
Yes, it is
Okay.
your airplane. Go ahead and fly 020 at 2,000 feet. Just try to remain straight. This instrument now becomes very, very important, because it's giving you the fast information on what's happening with your airplane. Like everything in the airplane, you have to have a way of verifying that it's doing the right thing.
Right.
So both the artificial horizon and the heading indicator gonna switch this.
Oh yeah. We didn't check that before. Hey, 020's moved.
Go ahead, just fly north.
Cardinal
Okay.
156 has Bay Bridge Airport site.
576, squawk VFR frequency.
You
change.
have a couple things
Squawk
that
VFR
tell you about
frequency change approved. Thank
altitude,
you. Have a good day.
or pitch actually. Artificial horizon is obvious.
Right.
Anything else?
My altimeter descent or ascent should tell me. My vertical speed indicator can help me.
580, roger.
Yeah, just remember the vertical speed is somewhat,
2 or 3 second delay.
yeah, behind the times.
Okay.
Southwest 156, turn left heading 360.
Yeah, I find myself really paying attention to the altimeter for whether or not I'm ascending or descending.
Southwest 156,
Yeah.
cleared visual approach, runway
And
33
you also
left.
have several instruments that tell you if you're turning.
The turn coordinator
Yeah.
and the artificial horizon.
And then not as directly the heading indicator.
Right, okay.
And then the compass as well. That, after all, is what it's there for.
Which I can't see.
Which is fine.
I'm trusting the heading indicator is on.
Yes, it's on right now.
South is 580, descend and maintain 3,000.
When you're in lowered visibility, whether it's because it's a hazy summer day, or you flew into a little bit of rain, or you were silly enough to not notice the cloud in front of you,
This is how I get by?
this is how you get by. This is how you save your life, actually. This is emergency
Southwest
procedure.
156, contact the tower 119.4.
Good morning, Southwest 156.
Morning.
All turns under these circumstances should be the turn coordinator turn. And that is actually a fairly
November
shallow turn.
7368 Foxtrot, there's a military helicopter at about 2 to 3
It's
o'clock.
only about between 10 and 15
about
degrees.
a mile and a half, converging southeast.
And the way that you set it up is you go for just in between 10 and 15, 10 and 20.
Okay.
And then neaten it
4129,
up on
fly present heading and
the turn coordinator.
reduce speed to 190.
199 present heading, South 4129.
Okay, let's go ahead and turn to 330.
30.
So clear on the left.
Okay.
And it's perfectly fine to be gradual about this. In fact, lowered visibility means you should be gradual.
So is this the turn bank angle you're looking for?
Yeah, that's about right. Go ahead and roll yourself level.
Southwest 580, the airport's 12 o'clock, 11 miles. There is also company 12 o'clock and 4 at 2,400.
All right, we have both of them in sight, Southwest 580.
Also, collaterally,
Southwest
since
580,
it's
follow
such
your
a
company,
mild
flight visual
bank,
approach, runway 33 left.
you
and,
don't lose
you're going to need to
so
set your
much
speed
lift
reduction
that
now
the
to,
nose immediately
160.
starts to drop radically.
Right.
80.
And then finally, it's such a gradual turn that your
Southwest
body
4129,
doesn't react to it as
maintain
much.
3,000.
3,041.
Yeah, I didn't even feel it really.
Traffic at Route 1230.
Which tells you if you're not paying attention to the instruments how easily you can get out of whack.
Really quick. He's
That's
doing 130
exactly
knots
true.
across the ground right now. The one on
Now,
US
let's
turns
go ahead
right or
and
left,
start
one big
down.
push into it.
So go ahead and
Okay,
reduce
we'll
your
make,
power,
one turn to the
maybe
left,
about
southwest
1,700
All right,
RPM.
thank you.
Let the nose of the airplane
Again,
drop.
I'm showing 130 knots over the ground with him.
Okay,
17,
we'll slow.
carb
We're
heat.
configuring
Okay.
now.
That's right. And just barely below
Southwest
the
4129,
horizon.
reduce speed to
You're
170.
going to use your power
on the
to
speed, we
increase
have
or
airport
decrease
approach
your
traffic,
descent.
inside.
All right, just keep
What
an eye on the
descent am I
one
looking
Juliet.
for?
I'll have you follow him in just a second.
Probably about 500, 600, 700 feet. We're coming down to 1,300.
9.3 descending via the Raven with Victor.
Southwest 345
And
right.
then, of course, you have to keep looking
Southwest
at
4129. You
your
have the winds aloft there, S3.
heading out indicator
right
to
here?
make sure that you're not turning.
Right.
320 and 14.
So I kind of advocate for a hub and spoke idea. Is the hub being the artificial horizon, and the spokes being the other instruments.
Okay.
Southwest 4129.
That feels like about what I'm doing.
Right,
Yeah.
320, South 4129.
Okay, about 50 feet before your altitude. You want to start the process of adding power in.
I might have.
Sonic Ricard 4897 is 5.75.
50 seat seems to be about a good
Stand by.
good
you want,
aiming point,
580
if you
to
want
hold
to
the
call
tower?
it that.
Okay.
Yeah, Southwest 580.
So this is all stuff that we can do pretty easily if we have the whole world out there.
4129, you have the airport.
Yes, sir.
Southwest 4129, clear visual approach, runway
Same
33
for
left.
turning.
Clear visual 32 left, South 4129.
So you can do that
who
pretty
else is
easily,
taking
roll out on heading
Okay,
pretty easily.
4897, 5,000.
Ricard
But once we
4897,
have to
thank you.
concentrate on these little teeny guys, life gets more interesting. Or at least harder.
Sometimes hard is interesting.
Sometimes.
So I pretty much flew all the way back to FME Tipton on instruments with simulated instrument training, and you can see my return path is much straighter than my outbound path because of that precision in instrument flying. By the way, this is my entire flight path from that one training day. You can see where I was doing my steep turns and all of that there. But anyway, I just thought it was interesting how nice and straight and precise my return path was in comparison to my VFR sort of by the seat of the pants sort of style. I assume as I get better, I'll be able to merge the two, where my VFR flight line will be nearly straight and true as instrument, because I'm using instruments in supplement of and flying more precisely with my visual sight. But anyway, I just thought that was interesting.
Then off the end of 1-0, we have our firing range over there, which is big enough. Okay, let's pull our power back. Hold the nose level for a second or two. Now you're slow enough for your flaps. Let your nose drop just a little bit.
Okay.
And we'll go ahead and turn. Okay, 20 flaps. Tips in traffic. 8 Foxtrot Mike, left base, 28 Tipton. Okay, now I would add a little more power, just a couple hundred. We lose lift in the turn. And as a result, we're a little bit low, so maybe add a little more for our 152 heavy here. And when one of the lights turns a little white, we'll go back to more normal setting. Power back, about 1500, 30 flaps. We've got a teeny bit of wind from the left, so left aileron and a very slight amount of right rudder. Just keep your center line in front of you. And just keep adjusting towards the center line. Okay, power, back to idle, pulling back. Ailerons roll to the left. And say hi to the geese.
Geese. And increasing power.
Little rudder as your power increases, as your airplane speeds up. And then as you get faster, you can take a little bit of the aileron away. But you're still going to have some. And once you get off, then you can level your, neutralize your ailerons. And then do what you need to do to stay over the runway. Alright, to beam the numbers, we'll go ahead and start the process.
Okay, so 1500, carburetor heat, I'm within flap range. I'm looking for about 70, I'm at about 45, go ahead and turn. Going to 20 flaps.
A little bit of lift. Did some traffic, 8 Foxtrot Mike is left base, 28 Tipton.
A little bit of power.
let your nose get pumped up by adding the power, because you don't want to get slower. Okay, so red and white, so they think that that's okay. And when you're ready, you can put your 30 flaps in.
Okay, 30 flaps.
Now, the red and white lights are going to land you very close to the red and white lights, so use them until you're beyond your obstacles. And then you can focus on the runway. Now, the wind's still from the left, so a little left aileron, right rudder. We're a little high right now, so lower your power. Let yourself sink a little faster. Ailerons control left and right. Rudder controls yaw. Okay, pulling up. Okay, ailerons toward the wind rather than steering with them.
Whoop.
So last little bit of commentary here. You'll notice that this last time in the pattern is very quiet. Pretty much I'm just flying the airplane. I didn't really realize it until I reviewed the video, but there's a large majority of this where she's just letting me do what I know I'm supposed to be doing, which is encouraging for me, to be honest with you. I did get some feedback from her about my takeoffs and landings, particularly the landings, right? That's the part where I'm really needing to make sure that I start to get solid before I can solo. And she said that these were the best 3 yet. And also I asked her later on, which isn't on the video at all, but how much control she was applying to the landings. Historically, you know, she's been adding some corrections for me, and she said these 3 were pretty much 100% me. So that's also very encouraging. I'm starting to get a better feel for the airplane, a better feel for the rudder in particular, and I'm also getting a better feel for the throttle. The throttle setting on an airplane is kind of like, it's backwards of a car. It's almost like cruise control. You kind of set it and in one position, and then you move it to another position, and then you change it to a different position, as opposed to sort of the fluid gas pedal of a car. At least that's how it started for me. Now I'm starting to make it more fluid, where I'm controlling it in little increments constantly. So anyway, that's it for this. I'll let you finish watching the video, but I just wanted to kind of tie this up.
I kind of use the pond over here as kind of an outer boundary, and I kind of split the difference between the grass and the pond.
Okay.
So when you add power, it pushes the nose up,
Right.
and you have to make sure the nose doesn't pop up and make you too slow.
Ooh, that was tight.
Yeah.
A little bit more power.
Yeah, so kind of crab over to it. Tipton traffic's 8 Foxtrot Mike is final, 28 Tipton. And we're a little high at this point. 30 flaps.
30 flaps.
You can kind of see that you're pointing slightly to the left.
Right.
So step with your right foot to bring the nose back to center.
Okay.
Just a little bit, and a little left aileron. Keep the center line in front of you. And basically kind of change it as the center line moves on you. So of course it's us moving.
Right. So my landings, what's your critique on those?
I think that they were the best yet.
Okay. I think I'm starting to get a feel for the controls as opposed to just doing what you tell me to. I still feel like I'm back and forth a little bit, but I'm also feeling like I know what to do when it's going this way. I can correct it. So